It's good to see everybody. And I want to say thanks to our live audience for joining us this morning in Circle. Today, you're going to be able to watch evidential mediums as they connect with people who've crossed over to the other side and deliver messages from those spirits. We hope that by watching us work, you'll come to understand that your loved ones that you may have lost aren't lost at all. They're still with you. So please join us as we open with a prayer. Holy Father, Mother God, thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of spirit. Please help us to open all of our senses, physical and spiritual, so that we can receive messages without interference from our own minds. We humbly ask that you make this circle an uplifting and joyous experience for everyone in attendance. Please ask the spirits who recognize the voices in this room to join us this morning so that we will know that they watch over us, love us, and protect us still. And please allow us to deliver the information presented by Spirit with grace and compassion, in complete trust and respect of your infinite wisdom. Amen. Okay, and I think we can go with 12 minutes each if that works for everyone. And whoever gets a link, just hop on in there.
I can try, Carol.
Thank you, Effie.
I'm
Okay.
actually I'm drawn to you.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I just understand I do have a grandmother stepping forward. And when she steps forward, you understand she would have loved this time of year and people coming over to her home. And she's also sharing that you're going to be going to looking forward to doing candlelight service near the holidays. Would you understand this?
Oh, yeah.
And would you understand that the candlelight service is you're going to your local spirit, your local church, your local church of faith, and it's a service, it's a divine service that you always, it's a tradition.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And with his grandma, that she comes forward, people, she's a healer, Carol, very, very much, and she's very, very similar to you. And and in your home, you'd remember the baking that she would from weeks before that she would start. And she just had a way where she would make this crumble pie crumbles, all fruity, baked dessert. Would you understand this? And it's very crumbly. this
Oh, she
pie,
was a pie maker, definitely.
right? And it wasn't just one kind of flavor, it was several flavors. But she just had a way of knowing how to make the blackberries and the blueberries, and it was and the apple pies. And as a child, you also understand loving the whipped cream and going to her kitchen and seeing the whipped cream and just making also sundaes and ice cream where you'd sit with her and watch her and just have conversations with her.
Yeah, that's true.
And then there's just also a family name of Ellen that comes in the family.
Uh, yeah, Elaine.
Elaine, thank you.
Elaine.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Elaine. And when she's here, and when she's here, just the gingerbread cookies were something I just want to make when I'm with her. And she would also put these up on the Christmas tree afterwards. What she baked would
I
go
did.
onto the
Yeah,
tree, you
right.
know, and they were also everybody had a certain name that she would make. This is for Carol, this is for Tony, this is for it was just this tradition. And she was so generous, Carol. What she baked is that she gave it to everybody when they came over and just really, 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 this was her heart, this was her soul, this was her pride, your grandmother. Her love was in the food. It was very, very much. Now, having the family over, I understand on the holidays, there was a big family. And there's a lot of chatter, a lot of loud noises, and I could just hear this in her home.
Yes.
And it was just and then but right before we start to have dinner, you would do a toast. And I want to to the one of the crystal glasses to make a toast and a grateful cheer for this year for having her family there. Would you understand this?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Right. And then this and there was and she would love the crackers, those holiday crackers that would be around the table. And I feel like that was the funny joke of the holidays was and the traditions and having people with her. Now, when she's here and just having the cooking, it was so delicately organized with her that everybody knew what's to come next. Everybody knew what's to come next. And there was also everybody had a tradition where they would wear these funny Christmas big slippers around. Would you understand this?
No.
If not, then would you understand the night before in your house you'd wear Christmas clothes and be excited before the next day and have this gathering of sharing gifts, but I gotta wear my Christmas outfits. And she just makes me aware of your grandmother. The name Elaine, would you understand she's also on the other side?
Yes.
And she's stepping forward with her. Now, this lady, Elaine, would you understand she's an aunt in the family? To you,
No.
sorry.
No.
She's not. Would you understand she is a friend?
No.
And this, let's see. Would you understand she is your mom, Elaine?
Yes. She's my mom.
Right. And she's very also similar to you when she steps here forward. Your personalities, you and her, are very, very much alike.
Yep.
She's and when Elaine steps forward, I just feel like very much during it's a lot about the holidays. Your mom would have a way where she would take the gift. Who's this for? Who's this for? And there was this suspense before, but your mom is very organized and she would give the gifts to each person and just be anticipation of what we would open up. Now, I understand when you're a child, um, I actually want to feel like I understand there's a gift of a plate that I want to decor put up, and there's a special poem inside this plate that you can put up as a decoration in your home,
Boy, that's a golden nugget. Yeah.
right? And would you understand this plate that was an exchange between the both of you as gifts?
Uh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And in that plate, I just feel like your mom had breast cancer at one time. Would you understand this?
It wasn't my mom that had the breast cancer. No.
So breast cancer runs in your family. And
Correct.
thank
Yeah.
you. And there's just this awareness of being up to date and checking, making sure that we're going for regular checks. Now, within that plate, would you understand that you put it up around your home and it reminds you of your mom?
Yes.
And within that plate, there's a ribbon that's a part of the plate.
No.
No. Within that plate, would you understand there's a poem of a mother and a daughter relationship, significance?
No.
No, but there is a poem on the plate. There's a special saying.
There's an inscription of some sort, and I can't remember what it
That's
says.
okay. That's and then I won't flow into that. But there's just a lot of pink on this plate that makes me feel the love. I don't feel that's on the plate, but there's just a lot of love. And when you look at this plate, that I know she says that you a lot of memories come in. I also feel that you don't put up this plate anymore. It's not up in your house today.
You know what? Now you're talking about another plate. Okay, because there are more than one plate, so you've moved to another plate. So, but go ahead.
Yeah, and then but within one of those plates, which you understand, there's a ribbon. It's a
No,
design of a ribbon. Okay, so
no.
just leave that. It's very, very much now within this. I feel like your mom also had a lot of sorry, within her home, how she would put up her decorations in advance. You'd remember that she would have a share of angels that she would put up on her man around the home.
Yes.
And would you understand some of these angels were the color of bronze, gold, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right. And over the years, I have to take care of them because they start to wear and tear. So there was this area I feel your mom did take care of them. She just made sure they were always in good shape. And she just also makes me feel that there was also this what children used to get when it goes round and round, that sleigh ride, not the sleigh ride, the little ponies that I want to to open up at the bottom and the music comes on
Mhm.
when we go to the parade. Would you understand there's also one of those?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. And these are like a lot of the things when I feel into this, Carol, they remind me of love. They remind me of like these little sentiments that mom had. Every time I look at this, it brings back floods of memories of the relationship and the years I had with my mom when she was here. Um, you and her, I feel like you're one and the same, you and the daughter. So there's another plate where I feel there's a mom and there's a significance of a daughter's hand in hand, just showing your backs, of the love. Would you understand this?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And in that plate, she says that I know you said there's lots of plates, but these come in so, so strong to me. And in that, your mom's a healer, very, very much like you, Carol. And she just had remedies and antidotes, knowing how to take care of people, what they needed. She used to always put like lemon juice in her glasses. That was one of the things that she used to like. So I feel like I wanted to bring you a glass of lemon water, water with lemon.
That's true.
Right. And within this, there's also as your grandma just steps in with her, she'd always would like her teas, this grandma that
Oh,
comes
yeah.
forward.
Yeah. You
Right.
bet.
And the both of them would have this exchange between each other. But one of this grandma that really was really fond of her teacups. And
Yes.
she used them, and she was the kind of tea grandma that made sure that don't keep it stashed away. Use it. You've got it now, right? And there was no chips in these teacups. There was very,
Correct.
very much no chips.
Right.
There's also a set of teacups that she would have had that would have had a winter design around it. Now, no, it's not that. Would you understand there's a picture of a moose in the home, a picture of a
Um,
moose. That's not it. I don't feel it's on the teacup. There's a
in
picture
her
of
home? In her home.
And I feel like she lived in an area that was up north.
Yeah.
Like in her home, there would have been pictures of moose, the winter life, like around her. She would have had it designed like this, where deer is here.
Was a taxidermied moose.
I was gonna, okay, quiet. You gave that to me. I want to just say that you gave that
Right.
to me, right? And they would take it down and they would clean it once a year. They
Yeah.
made sure that
Yes.
it was, and this was very, and I feel like the buck too. I want to talk about that somebody caught a buck,
Oh, yeah.
and it was a lot of hunting that went there. So being drawn to the area of up north where your grandparents lived. This family that comes in for you today, Carol. I know I said keep saying love. But you hold the family together. You have this very practical, nonsense way about you, that they're pleased how you give good practical advice and guidance to your family. And it's almost like you don't take no shit from people. You say it like it is, and that's because of your years of experience. and who you are. You're very, very grounded. Your mom also says before you go to bed, you talk to her and you look up at the sky and you just say, I'm here, I'm going to bed, Mom. There's just this beautiful exchange with her. And as Elaine also steps forward, she was a night owl. Uh, she was a night owl. My gosh, she was always up at the creak of dawn. And as I leave both all these ladies with you, the last final is where your grandma would have made all the Christmas stockings homemade for the family. Would you understand this?
Yeah.
And I still have them today, and I feel like you have one that's the color white. There's white around it
That's
and
true.
gold. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Carol.
Oh, thank you, Effie. That was fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So, everything was spot on. The only clarification I want to give you is on the plates. Okay. The first plate was actually a plate celebrating Canada's, I want to say bicentennial or something.
Hmm.
So it's a commemorative plate of Canada. Okay. And then there were like other plate gifts after that that happened. Okay. But the first significant one was the plate with the centennial. And then the second thing I want to tell you, you probably think is going to be so insignificant, but you actually said when you were talking about my grandmother's pies, that was her mother, Elaine's mother. Okay. And you said she knew how to do the fruit. Blackberries and blueberries was what you said. Okay. I have a refrigerator full of blackberries and blueberries, and I am making blackberry and blueberry jam as soon as we're done with this circle this morning.
Beautiful.
So just those little details mean so much, and I thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for that. That
You
was
have all the
awesome.
pectin ready. You have all the
I
sugars.
got the
You
pectin
got it
too
all and all the jars ready.
in the
Very,
little
very nice.
jars. I'm ready. So thank
Thank you.
you. Oh my gosh. That was beautiful. I love hearing from my folks, man. That just makes me so happy. Oh, okay, who wants to go next? Alyssa, thank you. Step
Thank
on up.
you. I just have a little bit, so we'll see where it builds.
Way to start.
But I feel like I've got a man in spirit who I feel was a research scientist because I see him hunched forward and I see him at a work desk where he's looking at slides under a microscope. And as I draw into him some more, I do feel like um, he would have studied, it feels like he's looking at like protozoa of water. So I feel like this man might have been involved at like a water treatment plant, or there's something connected to life within the water. He strikes me as he's taller and thinner. He's got kind of like a sandy brown hair. I feel like his coloring towards the end looks a little bit sallow. He's got high cheekbones and he's got, kind of wrinkles on his face, like a longer face. And he's just a really like easygoing, matter of fact, kind, gentle spirit. So, who can understand this so far, or who may be listening?
I can take about 90% of that for somebody who's living.
Okay, so we can work with that. All right. So, and would you understand that there'd be a woman in spirit who'd be bringing him through?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll talk a little bit about the two of them. And just for the folks listening, sometimes spirit will begin, their point of contact and talking about living people, but the person who's bringing us the information is spirit. So we can work into both. And sometimes there's just reasons why spirit will show the living person first before themselves. So with the woman in spirit, I feel like she feels like she's somebody who stays close to home. I see her smaller build. She has like a fuller figure to her, and she has a little bit of like a worried personality.
Okay. That
Would
makes
you
sense.
understand that there's like a touch of anxiety with her?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I see that she would have like lived in her house for many, many years. So I
Yes,
know that that would have been like the family home, and it feels like pretty modest in terms of the home itself. Um, like so she's a woman who, if she had the couch, from when they first got married, that would still be the same couch that's in the house. She doesn't feel the need to like update things. She's
right.
very content with that. Okay. And would you understand their relationship that the man who's living, that would be her son?
Um, two possibilities. One
Okay.
man is okay.
I would say, and if not a birth son, it could be like a son-in-law, you know.
Okay.
But it's this kind of feeling because she feels maternal towards him. Okay. And I
Mhm.
want to say that there's a real appreciation from this woman for the intelligence and moxie of this man. Would you understand that?
Yes,
Okay, because I understand that this man would also travel around to present on his work. He travels to conferences and he presents.
he does. Yeah.
And I want to say that I get chills, but I feel like he's got a very inventive mind, and I do feel like there are innovations that he's bringing out into the wider scientific community.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, great. I also know that he'd be writing papers. It does feel like a lot of peer-reviewed papers. He's publishing his findings.
Yes.
Okay. Would you understand too? Now, I'm not sure if this is for him or a man who's connected, but I also understand that there would be a man who would teach as well.
That's him.
Okay, great. I was curious if that was him or if that was somebody else, because I want to say that there is a teaching component there and that he's a fantastic teacher because he really engages his students and he believes in them. Um,
Correct.
and I do feel though in your interactions with this man in a very present sense, I know that he's been lamenting the state of education because it feels like because there is this push for everything to go technological and digital, it feels like his students are not engaging with the scientific pursuit the way that older generations would have. Would you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, great. And you'd understand these would be family members?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. And they're in connection to you. Um,
Correct.
great. I want to say too, I'll talk a little bit more about the woman. I do feel that there were health issues related to her passing. And I
Yes.
do feel like I'm drawn to the chest and the throat with her.
Yeah, that's
And it's
true.
interesting, and I'll share this to the audience as well, is that sometimes the spirits are drawing close to us. They'll also, um, you know, um, touch us physically. So, my throat had been fine, earlier in the meeting, but I feel like now as I'm sitting with this spirit, I do feel like I'm a little bit phlegmy, and I feel like that would be coming from her.
Yes.
And because I do know that there would be heavy allergies with her, and it also feels like, yeah, there's a little bit of a struggle around breathing.
Yes.
Okay, okay. And would you also recognize she's also bringing in animals who'd be with her in spirit?
I
There
don't
were
know.
some cats from
Uh,
earlier on in her life.
I wouldn't know.
Okay, okay. I'm just gonna
Not
leave
know.
that there, but I'm seeing some orange tab. I see an orange tabby, and I see like a really beautiful, rich gray cat. So
Okay.
she's bringing that in. Okay. Um, this woman herself too, I feel like, let me see here. She's also acknowledging another son. Would you understand that she would have had another son as well?
Yes.
And the other son feels like he takes after her a little bit more. So he would have stayed kind of closer to home.
Yes.
Like his worldview feels a little bit smaller in
Yes.
scope. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Um, but I want to say that other son, he drives around a lot. Would you understand that
Uh,
as part of his work?
no, I don't think I can take
I
them.
see clipboards. I feel like I see some clipboards and deliveries, the passing off of materials.
Mm, I'd have to think about that.
Yeah, no worries. She's just bringing in acknowledgement about the other children. Um, and with you, she really liked you. She really, really liked you. I feel like she says that you have a really good head on your shoulders, and that you're somebody she likes that you take, this is her phrase, that you take delight in life. You take delight in life. Okay. But and she's also bringing in, she would have done some handicrafts. She would have done a little bit of sewing or knitting, crocheting.
She did. Yeah.
Okay. And this is funny because I feel like after she passes, there's conversation about what to do with this yarn. And I want to say it feels like other members of the family don't want to take on the yarn and they donate it.
She's referring to something else there. It
Okay,
wasn't
would
her
you
yarn.
understand that the yarn had been, some of the yarn had
Had
been
been
donated?
donated, yes.
Because okay, great. Because I want to say that there is like a community group who benefited from her yarn.
Yes, that's
And
true.
she was happy about that because she wanted
Okay,
to teach
good.
people. She wanted to teach people the crafts, and people have respected that she did it. But I don't feel that people took it up, in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
same way
that's
that she
true.
wanted. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
All right. So that's so funny. She's bringing that in. Okay. I also feel like I'm getting some names coming in, Carol. Would you understand a name connection, Donna and Wendy?
I understand the name Donald,
Donald. Okay. Because I was
Donna.
okay. Okay. So there's a recognition of names sounding like that. And I want to go back into why she was bringing in the man with the research slides. Uh, it's funny because I want to say that the man's career is taking a different direction.
I don't know.
Okay.
Tell me
This is
more.
really interesting. Okay, I feel like there's a different direction that this man is about to head with his interests. It almost feels like he's approaching retirement. And so
Right.
it's this whole premise of him reflecting on his career throughout time and now kind of considering like what's his next step with it. And I do feel like he, after taking like a time of break, it does feel like he will be, I don't know, stepping back into the community in a different role, because I feel like that does feel important to him. Okay. um and I'm just going to put this out there. Would you understand this as mother-in-law for you?
Mother-in-law, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because it felt like she was talking, and this would be your husband
Um,
or the
Actually,
brother.
my husband's brother and the
Yeah.
research man is her grandson,
Oh, her
her nephew.
grandson. Okay, a little
Yeah,
bit younger. Okay,
yeah,
got you.
yeah,
Yeah, I felt like mother-in-law acknowledging for the family because she
yeah,
felt like maternal towards you, but there was like a bit of distance, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Oh, that's really funny. But I want to say too, she's saying like, this is funny that you spiced up the family. Would you understand that?
Jeez.
She said you spiced up the
Say
family.
about that.
I just feel
I
like
guess.
you brought color and dynamism into their world,
I
which,
guess. Yeah.
you know, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And
Jeez.
that's funny. Okay.
Oh, the things they say,
I
man.
know, right? Oh, that's so funny. This is funny too. Would you understand her referencing like a VW bug or beetle?
Um, Not off the top of my head. I'd have to
Okay,
ask.
she's saying that somebody of your generation, there's a woman who was driving a VW.
I honestly don't know. I'd have to ask.
Okay, leave that
Okay.
there, okay?
Okay.
But she comes in with a lot of love, and I just feel like she's very encouraging around people following their interests. So if there's something that this is what she's saying, if there's something that you've set down recently because you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like continue on with that, she says she wants you to pick it back up. And the other thing she brings in, Carol, is I see like, oh, this is interesting. Cloisonne beads, a cloisonne beaded necklace.
I don't know.
Okay, check that out. Look for it. Do you know you're familiar with the beads though?
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
know the cloisonne
Okay.
bead is. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. She's bringing that in.
Wow.
But I
Okay.
see like the blue, green, and red. So it almost feels like
Oh,
there's something that you'll find there. And I'll
yeah.
leave that there. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you, Alyssa. Well, that was interesting. Okay, because the male that you started out with was my nephew. Okay, who's her grandson. Okay, and he is actually a university professor out in the eastern side of Pennsylvania. Okay, very, very high level, respected in his field, and does, like you said, all the peer review type things. He's tops in his field, and he was actually one of the when was the head of an immunology department that was responsible for one of the COVID vaccines.
Oh, how about
He's
that?
that level. Okay.
Wow.
So, yes, okay. And she did have a lot of allergies. She was sensitive to things. Okay. You know, you said she liked me. I'm glad to hear that, because I loved her to death. I
Yeah.
thought she was awesome. Okay. And you know, but it's interesting, you know, that you're coming in and she's apparently watching the grandson and saying that he's reflecting on his career and going on a different direction, because honestly, I don't see him, you know, very often. And you know, to hear that he's contemplating retirement is kind of surprising to me,
Oh,
although he's old enough, you know, to retire. Okay. But I'm going to have to reach out to him and see, you know, and see where his state of mind is. So I thank you for that. That was
thank
marvelous.
you.
You know, ah, geez, now I feel like I'm being a reading hog. Okay. Who wants to go next? Candace, thank you. Step on up.
Okay. So I feel that I have a man with me, and he's making me feel that sometimes in life he did things differently, and I feel that there was frustration when it didn't work out, you know. And I feel that also at a stage in his life there was not a lot of communication that he would have had with you, but I feel that this would have been because of circumstances and on his part. And I feel that this could be a brother. Can anybody else, can anybody take this?
I am listening.
I'm listening as well.
Okay. And I feel that going back, he was showing me roller skates and a carousel. I think that's what you call where you go up and around. And also like a big lollipop. I feel that this would have been colorful. Can anybody take past memories that you would have had with your brother, Elise?
I understand
Yeah.
that. I'm not sure about the carousel, but the other I can take.
Okay. And you, Effie?
I understand. It's not brother, but I understand the evidence.
Okay, let me keep going to see who this is. And I also feel that he was making me aware of, could have been difficult times with parents and their situations. So I feel that you would have been like a team or like leaned into each other, especially when you were younger. Does that help? Break?
I don't know. I don't understand that.
I understand that. It was when we were probably older, not younger.
Okay, so I'll work with you, Elise. Let's see what else he's sharing. And he's also making me aware of losing. Can you take that he would have lost his temper a bit, but that it would have been out of character? And I feel that this would have been because of health problems.
Possibly not health problems, I don't think, but maybe possibly.
I feel what he's showing me is like in a medical setting, and I feel like I lose my temper a bit, but he's making me aware of that he was respectful towards them. But I feel like I'm irritated and maybe short fused because of things happening to me, you know?
Probably. Yeah, I don't know, but probably it sounds right.
Okay, that were out of his control, you know?
Yes, I understand that.
And he's making me also aware of that he wanted to be like a black sheep, so to say. He didn't want to follow people in the crowd. And I feel that also making, can you take that statement?
I can understand that.
And because he was showing me that there may have been an occasion where he wore like a different color tie. I want to say a yellow tie. Would that make sense? If
I
this was
don't,
even just once off?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay. Let me see what else. And I feel that I'm also getting reference to Red Riding Hood, you know, that story where the wolf comes, but he's making me feel like he wasn't scared of the wolf. So I feel that he knew a lot of things that they were not true. You know what I mean?
Um,
I feel like I have deeper understanding of things and I see things for how they are.
I understand that with myself, possibly him as well.
Okay. Let's see. And he would have liked that he was independent at a stage because I feel like I see him driving and being able to like travel and do his own thing. Can you take that?
Yes, he was independent.
Let's see. And I also feel that things that would have needed like fixing, that he could have done this
Yes,
and been able to like assist others if they needed things too, because he's making me feel like nothing was too much effort, you know. And
yes,
he may have reached out to you knowing that there were a few things that you couldn't do, you know, in your home. Can you take that?
yes. They could fix anything, yes.
Let's see what else. And I feel like I hear him telling a joke, but not everyone would have got the joke. So I feel like I see him maybe laughing or smiling to himself about this, you know? Can you take that his sense of humor was a bit dry?
Yes.
Okay. Um, and I also feel that he's talking about opening up something that looks like a treasure chest, and that there would have been a lot of like stories or things in there. Can you take that?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Um, yeah, and maybe when he was younger, I feel like things that would have been easier for like others to grasp and do, like his like tying his shoe. I feel that it may have taken him some time.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
don't
know?
know. I'm not sure. I don't know that.
Okay. Let's see what else he was talking. And I feel is that there would have been like a sense of responsibility on his shoulders and pressures too, you know, that there were other people in his family that he had to think about. Can you take that?
Yes.
And wasn't always able to do it how he would have liked or how he would have
Correct.
wanted.
Yep.
Um, because he's making me aware of younger people also having to go through so much and that it wasn't nice for them. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
And I feel that he may also be talking about when he was ill and the deterioration and how he looked, you know?
Yes.
Because he's talking about like it taking strength and taking courage to go and maybe like an effort to go maybe be there every day or sit there every day with him.
Yes.
Where there could have just been silence, you know, but he's making me feel that um, he knew that you were there with your presence, and I want to say that he could still think clearly in some circumstances, maybe when the medication wasn't given. Can you take that?
Right. Understand when it wasn't given. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, see. And also reflect, and also making me look at a mirror, and I feel like it's so like cloudy, like you can't see your face in the mirror, which makes me feel that maybe when he looked at the mirror when he was not well, that he didn't want to see what he was seeing. I felt that before he got really sick, that maybe there was that reflection of, how can I beat this? How can I get better? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And and he was also thinking about others and the consequences and how it would affect them. So I feel that he was caring like that. And he tried his best to show his love how he could in his own way. Because he's making me feel that there were people that, were very special to him that he cared about. And I feel like I want to say that I wouldn't have wanted to change how maybe he raised them or brought them up, or how the family came together in special times. Does that make sense for you?
Uh-huh.
And I feel like I'm also seeing outside his home that he may have like sat on a stoop, or I feel like where I get to watch the road or watch the traffic, watch the people. I feel like he's showing me something like this, how sometimes life isn't just about what's in your own home and what goes on, but you learn so much by experience of looking at how everyone else lives their life, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Okay. And would you understand if I say that you are looking out for his loved family members that are still here, or that there's still communication between all of you?
Yes.
Okay, because I just feel he has gratitude and thanks for this, and thank you for like being with him and sitting with him and making him still feel like he was your brother on all levels. And so I leave you with his love. Thanks.
Thank you, Candace. Would you like feedback?
A little. Thanks.
It is my brother. Um, I don't know what difficult times when we were, older with our parents for sure. Oh, what to give? I don't know.
That's okay.
Everything's on. Everything, yes. Everything is yes. He fixed everything. Yeah, he had a sense of humor. Yeah. It was hard for him to see what was happening to him as well in his illness. So, thank you.
Thanks.
And the message was relevant for you too, Elise?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
His family keeps coming up actually lately. So, yes, thank you.
That's good. Okay. Elise or Adrian, who would like to go next? Adrian, thank you. Step on up.
Unless you did a hop and Elise, I'm good with whichever. Yeah, okay. Um, all right. So I know it's time of year right now, but like the first thing I'm seeing is like a Christmas tree. So we're going to Christmas, and I want to say like there's either a memory or something to do with the setter and like helping to decorate the Christmas tree, because I feel like I'm seeing tinsel be put on, and then there's like a big star at the top. And then I feel like there's possibly two spirits here, because I feel like I'm seeing a male, which feels like uncle energy to me, and then I'm seeing a female, which would be like grandmother energy. But I think it's like a son and mother kind of coming in together. Um, I feel like also with the son that he would be with the mom a lot, like either living with her or being like a caretaker of sorts. Like I feel like he's there a lot with the mom. And the thing with her is I feel like there might be some like difficulties with walking because I feel like I'm seeing her either in a wheelchair or like sitting a lot. Um, so I think there would be like some type of walking type issues. So let me just kind of check in and see if anybody can understand this so far.
Carol and I are listening.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And would because I'm a little uncertain as far as both of these being like spirits, or is there one spirit and one living? Like I'm trying to kind of decipher that a little bit. Would you guys both understand these as both being spirits or
I understand they're both in the other side.
both in spirit? Okay.
I understand one living, one here.
Okay. See, and that's where I'm getting a little confused because I'm not sure if the son is in spirit or if he would be the living one. So let me just kind of keep going here. Could either of the two of you understand something to do with like music? Like I feel like I'm seeing sheet music because I'm seeing like notes on paper. And I keep writing down like music notes.
I understand music, sure.
You understand music. Okay. Okay. And then I want to also throw out like a B name, like Ben or Benjamin. Like I want to go with like a B name.
My uncle's name is Bill.
Bill. Okay.
Benjamin's a family name.
Okay. Okay. Let me see if I can get this separated a little bit more. This is kind of a random piece, but as I'm finding, the most random things seem to be something of significance. But would either of the two of you understand something to do with ducks? Like I'm seeing ducks. I don't know if it's feeding ducks or having ducks. There's a reference to ducks.
Adrian, I'm listening to all this as well.
Ah,
I understand ducks too.
And I had ducks, yeah.
okay. I feel like I'm seeing one duck in particular, and it's almost like following me, is the feeling I'm getting. So I don't know if there's like a closer connection with one, or there's one that's like that stands out, because I feel like there's one in particular. Would that make sense? Like, I don't know, one that gets closer or something.
I don't know the significance of it.
Okay. Would you understand the feeding of them too? Because I almost feel like I want to throw popcorn or bread or something like that's like,
yeah,
feeding. Okay. Uh, so I'm kind of going back to the sun, and you would understand this would be a male in living. He's not passed.
I would. Yeah.
You would. Okay. Would you also understand that like maybe there's a little more difficulties right now? Like I feel like maybe he's going through more difficulties or he's having a more difficult time in life at this moment.
Yes. Yeah.
And Effie, are you still understanding this or
No, I
just to
think they're
kind
all
of
in
check in?
spirit.
Okay, okay. So I think I might be with you, Carol. And Elise, are you still in or?
I was until the bee is living, not that I don't know that person, I don't think. Mine's in,
Okay. Okay, okay. Because I feel like I'm being drawn a bit toward Carol, but definitely keep listening just in case. Would you also understand? Because I feel like I'm going to the living male's legs, and to me, they almost look like, you know, when you don't use your legs enough, like they get thinner, and it's like the muscle gets like
Yeah.
atrophied or something. Like I feel like there's something like with the legs and like the muscles.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Um, would you also understand that because I feel like the mother is here kind of offering support and guidance, because I feel like there's like a bit of concern with him. Like, and also like your direction having some concern with him.
Yeah.
But I feel like she's kind of here to offer like support and kind of guidance on it. Just yeah, like I kind of want to say like I kind of want to just take your hand and put it in my hand and be like, it's gonna be okay, you know? Like just to kind of like offer that support. Um, and I feel like there's conversations with him, but like him not maybe fully understanding, or not like maybe not entirely getting like the extent of these conversations or something. Would you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. And honestly, I feel like to him, even though where I can see this could be a concern, like to him, it's kind of like, eh, whatever. Like I don't feel like it's like this big, huge urgency, and he's just like he
Right.
brushes it off, and yeah, like I still feel like this very happy-go-lucky, personality, and it's just like it's not a stress. Like it doesn't feel like it's a stressful thing for him.
Correct.
And honestly, I'm laughing a little bit just because it feels like in his perspective, it's like, why are people making such a big deal out of nothing? Like that's kind of like the feeling I get.
Yeah.
Um, like maybe not a full understanding of you know, like what's the big deal? Um, uh, I feel like there's also a reference to, okay, when you would wear socks, but like it's almost like the socks are too big or something like that. Um, I almost kind of feel like she's kind of referencing, because you know how like diabetics will have certain socks that will like the compression ones.
Correct. Yeah.
I feel like there's something about like getting tighter socks like that or something like that that might be helpful for him. Like tighter socks or like compression socks or something. Um, so she's
Okay.
kind of like throwing that out there that might be helpful. And I almost want to say like something to help with like the circulation.
Okay.
Would that make sense? Would you understand like circulation?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Um, and actually, would you also understand that this man may be diabetic himself?
I'm not aware of it, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. Because I'm seeing like different references to diabetes, like testing of the blood, where you have to kind of do like the finger prick every day to like kind of test your blood sugars. Like I feel like I'm getting different references to blood sugar sensitivities and stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know, if that's something that could be looked into or whatever, but just to kind of like throw that out there. And then she's kind of going back to the tree as well, the Christmas tree as well. And I feel like I'm seeing like the star being put on it. And what she's referencing with that, because I'm seeing the star being put on top of the tree, and then I'm seeing like the night sky and all the stars in the sky. And she's kind of referencing you being that bright star that's on top of the tree, like the bright star in the sky. Um, because would you also understand that you're kind of like the responsible one in this situation, like the caretaker, so to speak, the one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're kind of coming in to like help and guide.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she kind of lets me know too, like it's not the easiest task, because sometimes it's like talking to a brick wall, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you can say it as much as you want, but like it's not always getting through, or it doesn't always feel like it's getting through. And again, she's coming in with that support and understanding, and like just kind of, making it known like she understands like your frustrations and like your struggles with this, and empathizes with, how difficult it can be in moments. but also wanting to kind of just say like how good of a job you're doing, and you're being that bright shining star to him, but also to Minnie. She says like you're a very bright star to Minnie. So yeah, I think she just really wants to come in and give her love and support. I feel like that's like her main reason for coming in today. And like a pat on the back. Give yourself a pat on the back, she says. So with that, I feel like she's pulling back a bit, and I will just leave her love and thank her for coming in.
Oh my gosh, Adrian, that was fantastic. So that was my mother, okay, who's in spirit, and she's talking about my brother who is still here, but my brother has special needs, okay, he's autistic, and I've had ongoing conversations with him because he's had a number of falls this year, okay, and he's 65 years old, okay, and a healthy 65-year-old just doesn't fall over for no reason. Okay. But it's because whoops, I'm sorry. He allowed himself to get so out of shape. Okay. You were talking about the muscle tone in his legs and this kind of stuff. And, he's allowed himself to diminish to the point where, like, if he stumbles, he can't correct himself. He just goes right over. And like at his age, that becomes a risk because if you hit your head, then you've got a serious problem. And I've had numerous conversations with him about, getting himself into a healthier position. And he goes, I know, but he doesn't do anything. And it's been very, very frustrating for me, and to hear mom come in and say that, that's awesome. So I really needed to hear that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my. All right, Miss Elise, do you want to give it a go?
I do. And this is an interesting test today for me. Because this is kind of a thing of my past, and like it's one of those, okay, is this me and making things up in my past? But it is what it is, so I'm going to go with it. So the first thing I got was a name Todd, and this is someone from my past, and the oil field, which is the same, my past. But I have a man in spirit, and he just won't leave the oil field. He's in the oil field. Then he shows me again something I've seen lately, which is Billy Bob Thornton in this show he's doing, and I can't remember land something, but that's about the oil field. So this man won't leave the oil field. So he's a working man. He keeps showing me the oil rigs and the pump, the things when it's pulling oil out of the ground, and himself. He's got on jeans and a button-up shirt, and a belt and cowboy boots, some sort of boots, a hat. And so put together, but he's still a working man. He's got calluses and he works hard. And he's out there overseeing, he says, overseeing the men and this field. He's talking about Texas. And he just shows me this big open space with these oil, whatever they're called, oil rigs, oil things, pumping oil. So I'll stop with that. Does anybody understand the man, Todd, or something, or a man connected to the oil business, oil field? Man working on the land. No. Well, okay. Well, here he is.
Elise, I do understand a man named Todd who does land-based work, but I don't know about the oil.
Okay. But he's in body. Okay. Land-based work. So why is he so with the oil? Maybe he just want to give me Todd. I don't know, but he's still showing me all that. So he's showing me these big open spaces of working on the land. Do you understand that with him, Alyssa?
Somewhat.
Okay.
And I have to say, I don't know too much about him. So
Great. That adds to it too. Okay. Oh, okay. Darn. What else is with this man? He's still just standing in the oil field. Okay, let's go. He drives a pickup truck. He has a family. And his son, his children, his son is involved in this work as well. Do you understand any of that with him, Melissa?
I'm not sure about his vehicle. He does have children. I'm not sure if the other one works with him.
This doesn't feel like that guy, but doesn't belong with anybody else. Oh great. Okay, now. Okay. Let's try somebody. So do you know anybody connected to this Todd in spirit?
I don't know his people personally.
Okay, well, what are we doing? Let's get somebody. Well, okay, dude. Okay, this man in spirit. So does anyone here have a man in spirit connected to Texas? He keeps giving me Texas as well. Nope. Well, this is fun, new and fun.
Ellie?
Yes, yes.
I can take a man, but it's who works in the fields on the land, and his son works there too. But it's a no to Texas, and it's a no to it being oil.
Okay.
And I can't take Todd either, so I'm not sure.
Okay, but he's working on the land. Okay.
And where they do drill down, but it's not to oil.
Okay, but there's drilling. Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe it's the drilling part. Okay. Yeah, and it felt like the Todd thing was, like I said, from my past, and they're just trying to show me something. Okay, drilling. Oh, it's the drilling part. Yeah, because he keeps showing me the thing that, where they go down into the land. Okay, and this guy he's a hard worker, and I mean his hands are calloused and all that, but he's still put together and like overseeing everything. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That he's doing that on the land. Okay, he's overseeing it. And you did say his son works with him or is in the same field or? Yes, okay. Whew, okay then. Yay, he's like, yay. Oh wait, okay, is this guy in body or in spirit?
The guy who you're talking about is in spirits.
He's in spirit. Okay, yay. Oh, good. Okay. And that's right. He's very laughing. He's laughing and very excited now. But he's a serious guy, and he took his job seriously.
Yeah.
And he had I think that's Billy Bob. He has a very dry sense of humor. Do you understand that about him?
Yeah.
He's very short and direct with people. He doesn't mince words. He has a big heart and cares. He cares about people and cares what's going on. But he doesn't have fluffy words. He's not, do you understand that with him? Yeah, okay. Yes, he's like, yes. And he really loved his work. He loved what he did. It was very challenging and frustrating. He said some days he was like pulling his hair out. with how things were going,
Yeah.
it was so frustrating, but he loved it. He said it was such a challenge and such a it just challenged every part of him, physically, mentally, emotionally. And
Yes.
he was wiped out at the end of the day. But he wouldn't dare do anything else, he said. And he complained. Oh, no, I'll say complained. He complained a lot to his wife. I mean, he would come home and just la about
Yes.
it all. And she would listen. And she knew he just needed to let that off because he was going back the next day. It wasn't like try to convince him to do something different, or she would just let him,
Yeah.
unload, spew. He would spew like the stuff that comes out, like oil coming out of the ground. He would just spew. But he wouldn't do anything different. Yeah, he's very excited. And in this, there's some discovery. That sounds like a question. Discovering. Part of this is like discovering the spot, or discovering.
Yes.
Yes, you say discovering coming up, or discovering. He just loved it. He's like this. Oh boy, it's like, oh, what's going to happen? Is this it? Is this the place? So he loved that too. He loved the unknown and the disappointment, and then the excitement when they did hit. He says when they hit the right spot, it was like eureka, we did it. Yes. What else does he want to talk about? And he worked hard. And he was really excited, proud, happy, all of those wonderful words that his son was with him. Even though they butted heads, he says. They did butt heads because they didn't always take the same road to get to the destination. They saw a different path. So they would butt heads. But he said he did learn and he did grow. And he opened himself to other ways. And wasn't, well, he was going to say not so stubborn. He said I was still stubborn. But I could see my son's, after some time, I could see my son's point of view, or my son's point of view. And so his son taught him a lot, he says. His son taught him a lot. And his son taught him, okay. His son taught him to relax and not to be such a bull in the china shop, not to be so forceful in his movement. And he just taught him to relax and breathe, just breathe. This man was a very passionate man, and determined. So he was so grateful for his son to, he says, even though he was very reluctant, to teach him a better way. He also has a daughter. Do you understand that this man has a daughter, the man in spirit?
Yes. Yeah.
He has a daughter, and where he's out working really hard with his son, and like really hard, and even getting into it with like the crew, it's like it's very, very I'll say man's world. But with his daughter, he just turned completely, and he was so gentle, and he loved his daughter.
Yes.
She was like a little princess to him. Except she was a tomboy as well. I mean, she liked all that stuff too, but he he you could just see him change, just like his whole body changed with her. He was just very gentle and very kind and talked to her and listened to her and played with her and he's showing like, I don't know, dressing up like, I don't know, being a princess, or she's dressing him up, or putting makeup on his face, or I don't know. He was just letting her, just doing the girly things with her. Which
I
was
think so.
yes. Did you
I think
say
so.
yes? Yeah, it's just so drastic from the working guy. He comes, to her. And there's this whole other side. He was very, his heart just swells. He's just very proud of his children. He's just very proud. He's proud of. He loves to watch them and be with them, and he's proud of the life that they lead. I'll leave
Thanks.
with love.
Thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
this was
gosh.
my father-in-law.
Oh,
And he used to work at the same place that my husband works at, and is currently still working at. So yeah, it's out in the lands, it's in the lands, they do the drilling. It's for diamond exploration.
diamonds.
So yeah, so when they like got the right spot, then that's very important, And he did used to complain a lot when he came home, like a lot.
Yes, he was
But
a
it's
nut.
so yeah, but his son had to teach him like to relax because it's different there. So it's like a certain way you have to be and behave and what you can say and what you can't say. So that makes lots of sense. So yeah, it could take a lot, and it's nice to know that he's proud, Thanks.
Yep, he is very. He gets real soft and quiet.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for listening to me until you could take that, the oil man and the diamond field. Okay.
Nice
Thank
job,
you.
Elise. So, but this has been an interesting day, and I'm glad that the events are working out the way that they are. But for the benefit of the people who are listening, the way that Elise brought that spirit in was that it was all started with a similarity of someone she knew. Okay. And so what spirit was telling her is that this man has things in common with this person named Todd, who she knew. Okay. Now that wasn't the same way that everybody else brought in their spirit, but it's one way to do it. And it's not the same way that I'm bringing in my spirit, okay? Because what is happening to me now is that I'm hearing music, and I can tell you I don't have a radio playing in this room, okay? But I'm hearing music, and specifically what I'm hearing is um, a band leader from the 1960s whose name was Mitch Miller, and he did sing-alongs, and he did a sing-along of a song called The Yellow Rose of Texas. Okay, so that is what I'm hearing in my ears. So there's something significant about this, and it's up to me to figure out what that means. So as I lean more into it, one thing that I know about this song is that the Yellow Rose of Texas was actually a woman. Okay, so the whole point of the song is how much this man missed this woman who he had to leave behind. So this song might not actually have anything to do with Texas at all, or this reading, but we'll find out. So does the Yellow Rose of Texas have any meaning to anybody here? Okay, see, so now I have to do more work on this. So let me lean into it a bit. And this is about a man who left a woman behind, and they were young. I want to say like in their 20s or something like that, and they had a romantic relationship going on, and this man had to leave this woman behind. Let me find out why. Okay. I feel like what happened was this man had to leave this woman behind due to military service, and they were not yet married. So does anybody have a scenario that they know of where that might fit? No. Okay. Let me lean into it a little bit more. I feel like they had a correspondence going on, a written correspondence. This also dates this because I'm seeing letters. This was before the time of email. Okay. And I'm seeing letters going back and forth between this man and the woman while they were separated. And I believe that my sitter would still have some of these letters. Is anybody understanding any of that? Yeah. Okay. Let me lean more. I'll throw it out. I am hearing the name Josie. I don't know if that's relevant to anyone. Let's see. And this man, okay, I'm gonna ask him to show himself at a different age, okay? Because for the benefit of the people who are listening, what may be happening here is that the people who are on this session may not have known this man during this part of his life, but he wants to talk about it. So now I have to go back and I'm going to ask him to show himself at a later age and see if we can pin him down. Okay, and I feel like this man, he quite willingly showed me himself at a later age. He's showing me himself at about age 65, 70, somewhere in that range. And at that point in time, I feel like he was, gosh, what's the word that I want to describe him? Not a blue collar man at all. Okay, an office professional, and lean into him a bit more. I feel like he dealt with contracts. Okay. So I wanted to say that somehow in his job, there was either like a law thing or an insurance facet of it, something like this. Okay. But this is what this man would have done for a living. Does any of that make sense?
Carol, I'm listening.
Elise, okay. What parts of that can you take?
I can understand the top in a strange way. At the beginning, what you said in the beginning. In Texas, connected to this man, probably met him around 65. He dealt with contracts in his work. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll go back and see why he wanted to talk about the Yellow Rose of Texas afterwards, but I'm going to lean more into him right now and see what I can see about him. Okay. Sometimes spirit shows us very strange things, and sometimes you don't want to say them because it seems so weird, and this seems really weird to me, and I'm just going to throw it out there. Did he have a big map that you know of hanging on his wall?
A big map?
Map, M-A-P. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere. I don't know. I can't place it, but yeah, I'm getting something.
Okay. All right. Um, okay. I feel like this man had a smaller dog, um, along the size of like a schnauzer or you know, not even as big as a Cocker Spaniel, smaller than that. Okay. Do you know a little dog associated around?
When I first met him, he had a puppy about that size. She grew larger, but she was small.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Um, I feel like um, he had some knowledge of science, okay, because now he's showing me a periodic chart with the
Yes.
elements.
Yep.
That makes sense. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Boy.
Okay, back to this man is in body as far as I know.
Eh, okay. Ratso. Okay.
So,
So, for the benefit of our listening audience, when that happens, that means that there's somebody in spirit who's talking about this person. Okay. And I'm kind of under the gun because I have a limited amount of time left, but I'm going to take a guess and see if there would be, if the person in spirit might be connected to the Yellow Rose of Texas. Was there a female that he left behind
um,
who would be in spirit?
no.
No? Okay.
There is someone in spirit.
Okay, but not the Yellow Rose.
More
Okay,
than some,
great.
yeah,
Not
more
the
than
Yellow
one,
Rose.
actually.
Okay. All right. The person in spirit, it is a female, though.
There's more, yes.
Okay.
There's more
All
as
right.
well.
So I want to talk about a woman in spirit who is very elderly. She looks to me like she's in her 80s and she's
Yeah,
very, very frail. Okay. Now, do you know this woman associated with that man?
I know a bit.
Okay. Let's see. I want to talk about her frailty. She's not in good health. Um, and I see her and she's walking around like on a cane and the whole thing. And I also see evidence of like osteoporosis. She has a rounded back. Would you know?
Don't know, possibly.
Don't know.
Get
Okay.
into her elder, yes.
Okay. Let's lean more into him. Okay. All right. I feel like the woman in spirits would be his mother. Would that be correct?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Let's see where she's going with this. She's talking about a relationship between the two of you that she is referring to as hard scrabble. Would that make sense? Hard scrabble relationship. That's not my word.
Okay.
Okay. That's interesting. She's saying that he's not everybody's cup of tea.
Yes.
Okay. She's saying don't blame yourself. Okay. Don't blame yourself. Um, don't blame yourself. What else goes with this? Don't blame yourself. And that's where she's leaving it. She's just saying, don't leave yourself, don't blame yourself. Okay. And I will leave you that with light and love. Thanks for letting me serve spirit. And I'm glad we got that figured out.
You?
Ooh, woo, woo, woo.
Well, would you like feedback?
I would. Thank you.
I don't know how weird you want to get today, but it's interesting because sometimes I wrote down here, sometimes weird things come in and I don't want to say it, is what you said. So
Mhm.
I think that's my cue, because the beginning of this, this person that I met probably when he was in his 60s, our first, I don't know, trip, I'll say trip, and Alyssa reminds me, it was to San Francisco, and so she has the Golden Gate Bridge there. So anyway, our first trip together, and we hadn't talked about any kind of anything, but anyway, we had to talk. He was emotional, something was going on, and he realized he'd had these visions. He'd had these visions in his life, and so as he's talking, we realized we had a past life together. And so I know, so this is, I thought, am I going to say this out loud or just write this to you later? But
Yeah,
but
say
when
it
you
out
said, I
loud.
don't want to say weird things out loud, I thought, okay, I'm going
Yeah,
to go
no,
ahead and say it.
let us
So,
learn.
yeah, we realized we had this past life together. And in that past life, we were in San Francisco, and he was in the military, and he left and went off. And we were staying in this hotel, this particular hotel in San Francisco. And so later I started, what I now do is I Googled all those points, the war and the thing and the hotel and the whatever and the whatever. And it turned out in that hotel, the servicemen would gather there with the girlfriends or whatever up on the roof top. There's a restaurant or bar, I don't know, something, before they shipped out. So it was a place where they would all come and meet before the men would leave and go off to war. It was in the hotel that we're staying in.
My.
So anyway, so that's how weird all this weird day is. But anyway. And so with that, yes, I take it all the other stuff. I can take the Texas. His business was in Texas. Yeah, the dog. He was a chemical engineer. So the
Oh, that's
periodic
the
table,
periodic table.
definitely, yeah,
Okay.
in science. His mom comes in all the time, even though I never met her. She always comes in and talks to me for whatever reason. So there's the weird of the day.
Wow. Oh, and I got the weird of the day. Yay.
So it's shocking, Carol, that you got the weird of the day, but
Um,
so we go.
awesome. Well, thank you for that, Elise. Oh my gosh. Well, great session today, ladies. Okay, and for benefit of our viewing audience here, we're going to be back on next Saturday, the same time. We hope that you'll join us again and follow our experiences as we traverse the spirit world. But in the meantime, I'm going to shut us down with a closing prayer. If everyone would join me, please. Holy Father, Mother God, thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of spirit. Thank you for this gift of mediumship that you have given us, and allow us to use this precious gift to help others who need your healing and love. Bless all of our friends and loved ones and protect them from sickness and harm. Bring joy into the lives of people who have sorrow, health into the lives of people who have illness, and abundance to the lives of people who have little. Thank you for the lessons that you've given us today, and help us to continue to build a relationship with you that is based on love and trust. And always, please help us to be the lights that change this world for the better. Amen. So thanks, and